Alex, it'll be 24 years this March that I'm in radio. It was purely as a result of praying to God to open up the Red Sea for me that this happened. But I've told my listeners, and I'm going to tell them again today, and I'd like to mention it to your great audience. Okay, what's this with a God book, Savage? Would you suddenly find religion? It's not that I found religion. I've been looking for God ever since I've been a little boy. Whether it was the little boy story that I tell boy in the papers in the street, 4-year-old kid, Bronx, Longfellow Avenue, a Jewish newspapers blowing up the street. I thought it was a holy book. I didn't even understand the language, but I thought it was a holy book. I ran after these sheets of paper in the street, bundled them up in the wind. It's a true story. Brought home this whole bundle of paper. Mom, look what I found. Look what I found. I saved this. And she laughed and she patted me on the head. She said, it's okay, Michael. It's just a newspaper. So I've been looking for evidence, the evidence, and all I found are glimpses. And here's my most important point. It's my Einsteinian moment, Alex. I discovered it in writing this book. Why is God invisible to us? Why are we not idol worshipers? Why are we not worshiping period blood and chicken feathers, as so many of the immigrants seem to do in basements, you know, with chickens and vultures and God knows what? You drive around in San Francisco. There used to be in New York on the cars a little St. Christopher medal on the dashboard, right? I figured they're nice Catholic people. You drive around in San Francisco, they can't even see through the windshield. Dream catchers, pillows, voodoo dolls. This is the meltdown of the United States of America. Once we lost our connection to the roots of America, which was deeply rooted in monotheism, in one God, once we lost that, we started to lose America. And it all started with Allen Ginsberg, Timothy Leary, and William Kunstler, the three most evil people in the history of this country, who took this country from where it was to where it is. And we've only begun on this insane road, Alex. You know it and I know it. You live it every day. So what are we on the other side of reality supposed to do? Put up with it? Well, we do, but we got to resist the resistors because we are the true resistance. They're garbage. They're nothing.
I'm Alex Jones, your host. We're now an hour into this worldwide broadcast, and joining us is a true visionary, best-selling author, researcher, scientist, Dr. Michael Savage. He's written many #1 New York Times best-selling books, but he's got the newest one I can't wait to read, God, Faith, and Reason. And I think we should start first with the book and the time we have him with us. Then we'll get into Russiagate and the calls for martial law, the calls for killing the president. Sweden is pushing to change their flag to an Islamic flag, saying that we started the Crusades and we're bad, despite the fact that it's the opposite. He was the first person I ever heard, like 15 years ago, say that liberalism was a mental disorder. And I got that some were clearly mentally ill. But now, with Trump derangement syndrome, it's a mass psychology of mass mental illness, and it's getting worse. And the most radical ones are adding to the hysteria. It's like telling a schizophrenic, oh, it is true. There are men in the walls coming to eat you. That'll make them go jump off the cliff. So now the media has told them, yes, Nazis are everywhere. Yes, everything's horrible. Even though the economy's getting better and all these good things are happening, they are literally going insane and assaulting Dr. Savage, myself. Women wearing Make America Great Again hats are being beaten up on the street. Michael Savage, you told us what was coming. So tell us the next level. What's coming next?
Look, I wrote God, Faith, and Reason, but it doesn't mean that I talk to God. I've been looking for him all my life, you know. What's coming next is just finish the narrative of where the insane go. When the insane take over the asylum, what do? They kill everyone in sight, then they start eating each other. They eat each other. They become cannibals. I predict cannibalism is on the horizon, which will be sold as a wholesome alternative to veganism. In other words, you go all the way down the line of no living creatures, but now eat people, because that's the natural way. After all, that's the way it was done in the South Pacific until the missionaries came along and told the savages it's not okay to eat your daughter's nose, which they did. I spent many years in the South Pacific. The last piece of human flesh that was known to have been eaten in the Fiji Islands was in 1939 in front of a missionary. When they took a young girl out, you talk about molestation, they took one of the young girls from the servant class, actually the slave class in their village, and they cut her nose off and threw it on the fire to roast it for the missionary, and he respectfully declined. Yes, that's right. Missionaries saved them from cannibalism. Never given credit for that, because the psychotics must go through hell in order to be saved, and that's where they're going. But they're not taking me with them. I'll tell you right now, Alex. They're not taking you with them. They're not taking your audience with them. All I can say is, if they want to go there, good luck to them. But don't try to take us, because we ain't going with you.
And what you're saying is dead on, because I remember listening about 2 years ago, you said they're going to eat their own. The next level of psychotic behavior is cannibalism, inmates literally killing the wardens and then finally killing themselves. And they're already politically doing it with Donna Brazile coming out and Wolf Blitzer and even Rachel Maddow's brother over there, Hayes or whatever his name is. They're all turning against the Clintons right now. What do you make of this?
It's a game. It's a shell game. They know she's unelectable, so they figure get rid of her and get someone even more psychotic than she is, someone more power mad than she is, someone more to the left, if you want to put it in common parlance, than she is. She's yesterday's news. She lost the election. She's burned her path is over. So they figure, burn her. What do they got to lose? This way they can make believe they're fair. And what is worse than Hillary Clinton? Hillary Clinton is power mad, but in a strange way, she's a centrist power mad person, leavened by her husband, by the way, who's far less crazy than she is. I don't think you've heard anyone say that. Bill Clinton would be less of a danger to the country than Hillary is. But they're yesterday's news. They're old. They're not progressive enough, Alex. You got to get someone who's half lizard, half human, and wholly insane in order to run for office and have Machel Radkow, support her. Wolf Blitzer, I don't know what did it to him. Nice Jewish boy from Israel, comes to America, makes a fortune, and then hates the country. What did it? My guess is all the carbon dioxide from all the seltzer in Brooklyn. That's what I think accounts for most of the liberalism. I mean, they say carbon dioxide is a threat. They're obsessed with carbon dioxide without even knowing that without carbon dioxide, there wouldn't be any plant life. Without plant life, we'd all be dead. And, of course, what's interesting is that during the period when we had higher levels of carbon dioxide, I'm talking eons ago, there was more plant life, which allowed more animal life to grow. Having said all of that, all the years in New York City that the seltzer men were around selling these bottles of seltzer on trucks, it was a very popular beverage. Well, I think that the little bubbles of carbon dioxide in the seltzer water somehow crossed the blood-brain barrier.
Exactly.
And destroyed an entire generation that's now running the media. I can name them all. Wolf Blitzer, seltzer, carbon dioxide, toxic poisoning. Shall I name all of those who must have been OD'd on seltzer as children as they sat around the tables discussing Karl Marx and Engels for breakfast and then were sent to camps in the Poconos, the red diaper doper baby camps, where they could go to communist camps and sing the Communist Internationale? If you think I'm making this up, people don't know anything about the history of the New York liberal. I know everything about it because I ran from them.
Well, absolutely. There's a lot of folks that actually went through that will tell you, like Joseph Farah, your friend from WorldNet Daily. He was a young Lebanese American, but his parents were communist in New York, and they literally sent him to communist camp and were literally training him to be a weather underground person.
I know. Well, I was never trained to be a weather underground person. I was trained just to get out there and not get stepped on by life. And, here I am, Alex, it'll be 24 years this March that I'm in radio. It was purely as a result of praying to God to open up the Red Sea for me that this happened. But I've told my listeners, and I'm going to tell them again today, and I'd like to mention it to your great audience. Okay, what's this with a God book, Savage? Would you suddenly find religion? It's not that I found religion. I've been looking for God ever since I've been a little boy. Whether it was the little boy story that I tell boy in the papers in the street, 4-year-old kid, Bronx, Longfellow Avenue, a Jewish newspapers blowing up the street. I thought it was a holy book. I didn't even understand the language, but I thought it was a holy book. I ran after these sheets of paper in the street, bundled them up in the wind. It's a true story. Brought home this whole bundle of paper. Mom, look what I found. Look what I found. I saved this. And she laughed and she patted me on the head. She said, "It's okay, Michael. It's just a newspaper." So I've been looking for evidence, the evidence, and all I found are glimpses. And here's my most important point. It's my Einsteinian moment, Alex. I discovered it in writing this book. Why is God invisible to us? Why are we not idol worshipers? Why are we not worshiping period blood and chicken feathers, as so many of the immigrants seem to do in basements, you know, with chickens and vultures and God knows what? You drive around in San Francisco. There used to be in New York on the cars a little St. Christopher medal on the dashboard, right? I figured they're nice Catholic people. You drive around in San Francisco, they can't even see through the windshield. Dream catchers, pillows, voodoo dolls. This is the meltdown of the United States of America. Once we lost our connection to the roots of America, which was deeply rooted in monotheism, in one God, once we lost that, we started to lose America. And it all started with Allen Ginsberg, Timothy Leary, and William Kunstler, the three most evil people in the history of this country, who took this country from where it was to where it is. And we've only begun on this insane road, Alex. You know it and I know it. You live it every day. So what are we on the other side of reality supposed to do? Put up with it? Well, we do, but we got to resist the resistors because we are the true resistance. They're garbage. They're nothing. They're insane. They'll go away like you blow them down in the wind.
And historically, we're going to come back and talk about...
Not to fear them. They're nothing. They're garbage. And I want to know why the Hells Angels haven't come out, the plumbers haven't come out with pipes, the electricians haven't come out with wire and said, cross this line. That's it. You know, back in the 60s, during the anti-war demonstrations in New York, the head of the plumbers union said enough is enough with these scumbags. And he called out the plumbers to come out to the next hippie march. Let me tell you something. The hippies never marched again where the plumbers were. And that's what has to happen. There has to be a line in this country. It's enough of these insane crybabies.
All right. Michael Savage is on fire today. So we're going to come back and get more into the book because he's absolutely right. He calls it his Einsteinian moment. It's true. Once you have just basic good God out of your life, you disintegrate into human sacrifice idiocy. The mass mental craziness is intensifying. We'll cover it on the other side.
Yeah, I saw that's crazy about Drudge. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, this guy sends more traffic to the Washington Post than anyone else, and they attack him to show you how insane they really are. But let's forget Bezos for 1 minute. We say the enemy, they want to get us. You touched on an important point, okay? God, the way we know God, Christians or Jews in this country, gives us free will. We're the ultimately the most free people on earth. If we actually believe in God, we come to understand we have free will. He gave us life, but we have free will to act out our lives. The opposite are the statists or the central governmentists, if you want to call them, all of these other demons. They say, no, you have no free will. We are your will. We are your will. We are the Hitlers. We are the Stalins. We are the Mussolinis. We are the Pol Pots. We tell you what shall be. We are your will. You have no freedom. You're just a mote in the mire. A mote in the mire. You're nothing. And that is the greatest threat to these globalists, which is free will. Individualism, if you want to call it that.
All right, I'm not going to be talking much because Savage rarely gets wound up here on the air. And a lot of times when he does, he gets so angry he's got to go off the air. So I'm going to try to just let him flow because he's in rare form today, and I love it, as long as he'll stay with us this hour, or much of this hour. He's got the new book out that I can't wait to read, God, Faith, and Reason, Michael Savage. The fact that Michael Savage was looking for God, like Carl Jung, was seeing in archetypes, meant that he had God's stamp on him. People that are looking to destroy God and overturn goodness and overturn decency and who say there isn't a God, and who are saying that basically they're God, or they're going to destroy God, or they're going to worship human sacrifice, or they're going to worship ugliness, they're of their father, the devil. I don't care what religion or culture you come from. When you look at globalism, the leftists, the Soviets, the Nazis, all these authoritarian systems, they had a bloodlust to run everybody else's lives, to control language, and basically had a mass psychology and a will to kill. And that's what Michael Savage was starting to get into. And now we see the left going, yeah, we want guns. We're going to kill you. And we're communist. And we hate you. And we're going to bring in radical Islamics. And we're going to, let them promote slavery in their own countries. We're going to have Muslim women who are hardcore Islamicists like Linda Sarsour lead women's marches. We now learn what it's really all about as the gloves come off, the mask comes off, and we're face to face with 21st century evil. Michael Savage, you were on fire last segment. I'm showing footage of Mall of America from 2 days ago on our TV feed where a Somali man stabbed another 2 people screaming Allah Akbar, and now many areas of the country look like Somalia. Please continue.
Well, on my website, I put up Somali Muslim stabs. They didn't report that. They said it was a burglary gone wrong. I never saw such propaganda in my life. Trump calls it fake news. This is not fake news. This is beyond Goebbels, what we're seeing. I have never thought I'd lived through a time when you look at people in the media, they look normal. They look like they want to live. They don't look suicidal. You know, ordinary men, women of all races, they're insane. They're suicidal. They're digging their children's graves. What is it going to take for them to understand that they are the problem? They're the gatekeepers of information. We're marginal. You have a small show that's large in reach and power. I have a show that's small in a way, but very large in reach and power. Alex, can we save the country from these insane bastards before it's too late? Well, this is different than other countries. We're not disarmed. We haven't been disarmed. And let me tell you something. There are tens of thousands of retired military, retired cops, and unretired military and unretired cops. No one's stepping on them. It's just not going to be as easy as it was in 1917 in Russia, where the guns had been seized. It's certainly not going to be as easy as the knocking on the door in Germany, Poland, Hungary, and the other places where the Jews and others had been disarmed. And let me tell you something.
And is that why
else.
they're so upset? Is because our ancestors laid down provisions for just their type of scum?
I don't know who we're talking about. We say they. Who's the head of this?
I mean, who are the leftists? Mentally ill devil worshippers?
How many are there? How many are there of these boogeymen? Who are they? Who are they? Who's actually?
They're the SJWs. They're the mainstream media. It's the Hollywood crowd. It's the big mega banks. It's all the elites that want to. It's people like Jeff Bezos, who gets all this taxpayer money and all these monopolies, and then he's literally working with the Washington Post to try to shut me and Matt Drudge and others down and calling us all Russian agents.
Yeah, I saw that's crazy about Drudge. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, this guy sends more traffic to the Washington Post than anyone else, and they attack him to show you how insane they really are. But let's forget Bezos for 1 minute. We say the enemy, they want to get us. You touched on an important point, okay? God, the way we know God, Christians or Jews in this country, gives us free will. We're the ultimately the most free people on earth. If we actually believe in God, we come to understand we have free will. He gave us life, but we have free will to act out our lives. The opposite are the statists or the central governmentists, if you want to call them, all of these other demons. They say, no, you have no free will. We are your will. We are your will. We are the Hitlers. We are the Stalins. We are the Mussolinis. We are the Pol Pots. We tell you what shall be. We are your will. You have no freedom. You're just a mote in the mire. A mote in the mire, you're nothing. And that is the greatest threat to these globalists, which is free will. Individualism, if you want to call it that. So I, as a tremendously independent individual, I never liked anyone telling me what to do. It's just a part of my nature. It doesn't mean I'm a tough guy. I'm not bulletproof. I'm just resistant to people telling me what to do.
You're not taking it lying down.
Whether it was a teacher saying to me when I was young, you're not a gentleman. I used to hear that all the time. I didn't want to be a gentleman. What do you mean you're not a gentleman? What does that mean? Remember how they train kids? You're not a gentleman? What do you want me to do? What, do you want to step on me and put on a skirt? You want to turn me into like a trans whatever? I mean, get off my back. Don't tell me what to do. I'll tell you what to do. So now we're facing this thing with God. Let's go back to God. The E equals MC squared moment. I didn't even explain it. It's the most important thing. Okay. So all my life I looked for God. I can't find him. I'm saying, where's God? Where's God? I can't see him. The Buddhists worship a statue, right? In essence, they're idol worshipers. I love their poetry, but basically you're worshiping an idol. All of these Catholics who left Catholicism to fake Buddhism, you know, with the hands in the restaurants, like, thank you for the water, and they thank the waiter 50 times for a napkin. They don't even know what Buddhism is. That's not Buddhism. The fallen American religious person who becomes a Buddhist, they don't even know what Buddhism is. Okay, so now we come to us. We can't find God. We can't see God. We can't touch God. Why? Aha, the moment. God doesn't want us to see him, feel him, and touch him. Why? Because in searching for him everywhere, that's the finding. In searching, we find. That's the success.
By the way, I hadn't read your book, but you notice I just said that. The fact that you were seeking as a child showed, I mean, that's the proof right there.
Well, I always was looking for his presence, whether it was the newspaper blowing down the street or looking at cloud formations or studying the stars, or, I became a biologist for a reason, which was to, when I first saw the bones of a bird in anatomy, and I said, oh my God, look how God, or the grand designer, created the bones of a bird are hollow. Why are they hollow? So the bird can fly. The bones are lighter than ours, right? Mammalian bones are not hollow. The bird's bones have holes in them, in essence. I said, this is so genius, right? And then you look at the bird's wing, fold it up, and you unfold it, and you see anatomical similarities to our hands, and you say there has to be a grand design. Then you study Einstein. The kids in college have the picture of him with the crazy hair with the tongue out. That wasn't Einstein. Einstein is the man who went to the perimeters of the universe and came back and said, the more I study the outreaches of the universe, the more the more I understand there has to be a God. That's what Einstein actually said in his later years. He wasn't this great atheistic hippie.
And that's the left's triumph, is they take icons and turn them towards their service. Let's come back and talk about your Einstein moment straight ahead with Michael Savage, the new book, God, Faith, and Reason. This is something you want to read and share with people. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com. Michael's got a dog in his lap. We're going to come back.
Well, that's my mascot. And by the way, he's real because I feel he's real, just like your trans people. Is he real?
We're very proud of the fact here at Infowars that we're a teleprompter-free operation. We don't get our talking points from the private Federal Reserve or from Nazi collaborators like George Soros. We get our talking points from common sense and research from we the people. That means our guests, our researchers, you the listeners, the callers. But that said, today I've got a script I'm going to follow for the first time ever. It's you the listeners, the viewers, that wrote my talking points. I came in here an hour ago, and I literally just went to InfoWarsStore.com and printed the 5-star reviews, the first few pages. These are in the order of how they've been posted by you, the listeners. And it's 5-star after 5-star after 5-star. It's amazing, from third-party sites. So this is what you, the listeners and viewers, have to say about the products at InfoWarsLife.com. Let's go over them right now. This is verified buyer Mark, 5-star review for Anthroplex. It's for men and women. I take it as directed, as is one uses it too much, it will cause reflections of adolescent years in skin and muscle, and hair growth will, of course, increase sex drive as a given. Easy does it. Yeah, it's hardcore. It's very, very serious. Not a game. Thank you, Mark. Here's another one from Patrick. Energy all day. I use this along with Super Male, and it makes me have drive and energy all day on my 12 to 14-hour day. Another review. I love this one. Keeps my husband going and going and going. This must be the stuff the Energizer Bunny is on. I guess that's some fine lady using her husband Adam's account. Here's another one, ladies and gentlemen. 5-star review for Winter Sun, Vitamin D3. This product is amazing and will keep you from the winter blues. I don't get sick. Last winter while I was taking this for the first time in my life. Amazing product. Again, tastes good as well, they say. Here's one from Brian. I love this product and I live in Wisconsin. Thank you all. It's time that we turn the clocks back and lose the sunshine. I love this product and I am a night owl. Every night owl should have this product. I will buy this product as soon as possible again. And I should add, that's a great name for this product. Not just for the winter, but for night owls as well. In fact, it'd probably be called Night Owl. Night Owls, Winter Sun, or Night Owls get sun in the winter. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I said I'd shut up. But back to the script. Liquid Sunshine's what they call it. I love that name too. I will be using this product for 2 years now. It's wonderful out in the Pacific Northwest to get this Liquid Sunshine. Patrick, thank you for the support and for the review. You make it literally possible. Continuing with Silver Bullet, the highest quality 30 parts per million colloidal silver out there. Dale, should be called Magic Bullet. Oh my gosh, the listeners are so much smarter than me, and I'm not being patronizing. But kind of, that's what a silver bullet's supposed to be, though, kind of. So I've been using Silver Bullet colloidal silver for years now. This was the first product I purchased from Infowar Store. Whenever I feel the first stages of cold or sore throat coming on, a dose of Silver Bullet colloidal silver has always ended it before it starts. I've been giving it away for family and Christmas and birthdays since 2015, and it's worked for everyone. it has become an expected gift for our family. And that's why we get you the best products, because we want the repeat customers. It's all a win-win. That's an awesome review. Thank you, Dale, for your support and for what you've done for your family as well. We only got 20 seconds left, folks. I can't get to all the other Silver Bullet reviews, the Caveman reviews. They're all 5-star. They talk about the meal replacement, how great it is, how it blows them away post-workout, pre-workout, taste, okay, they say, but it's the results that really matter. Best post-workout ever is what Andrew says. Find it all, folks, at InfoWarsStore.com or InfoWarsLife.com. You can't lose, because you're funding the second American Revolution, and I salute you all.